Hi, I'm here today with Brady Yeager, our National Sales Director here at Movement Mortgage. Brady joined us about a year ago, and he brings with him lots of experience in the mortgage industry, building companies, building teams. And he brought some great initiatives with us that we are talking about as pillars for Movement Mortgage. And so, Brady, I was wondering if you could just tell a little bit about your history and then talk to us about those pillars.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you putting this together, Lois. So, my background, I'll take you kind of back really quickly here. Just started as a broker back in 2000, and then was part of a local kind of regional IMB, which then became a partner of. We sold that to Caliber Home Loans in 2014, and then departed there in 2021 and began my search. I had a 1-year non-compete, and so I ended up actually spending that year looking at probably 15 different companies, IMBs, banks, the broker model, and kept coming back to Movement. Ended up making the move over here in January of 2023. So it's been a year and 4 months. It's been a great year and 4 months. And, when I got here, Lois, it was clear to me that, the market was the rates were not coming down anytime soon. And so, really we started to look at what can we do to help the loan officers drive business today in the environment that we're in today. And I think we've done a really nice job of coming up with these 5 pillars of business that help our loan officers create traction and have action plans, something they can go out and actually do today to drive business so that aren't as rate sensitive. And so the first one was actually reverse mortgages. And we've done a really nice job, I think, of taking the reverse platform that we have in-house. We're able to close reverses within 17 to 20 days, which is a huge value prop. But more so than being a reverse loan officer, it's taking that value prop and going out and driving forward business with advisors, builders, listing agents, and showing them how they can take the reverse platform and reverse value prop and drive more business with their counterparties and their clients. So reverse has been huge for us. I couldn't emphasize enough that this is going to be a product of the future. Every day I think there's 10,000 people turning 62 every day. So it's going to be something it's not going to go away. It's only to become more and more prevalent. So the second is near and dear to my heart, which is builder. I do own another company with my 2 partners from a previous company that does builder financing in the Pacific Northwest. And 40% of the deals today are builder. I think that if you aren't working with a builder today, you're behind the 8 ball, and you should start learning the vernacular, learning the product, and learning how to provide value for builders, because new construction is going to be a part of our overall business for the next 5+ years just due to the inventory. So builder is our second pillar. We've rolled out a national builder platform with a ton of different tools and products, in-house, 2-time close with, we've got some bridge products, and also a one-stop shop, with the horizontal, vertical, and takeout all in one product. So more to come on that. The third is servicing. And servicing is something that has been near and dear to my heart for 24 years. I've always had it. It's always been a part of my business. And I think it's going to pay off for those lenders who have it today. Over the next few years, as rates do come down, to have that relationship and that connectivity with their borrowers versus it being sold off to different aggregators that are then going to have call centers be, reaching out to these clients that you've worked so hard to secure and retain over the years. Servicing is a must-have. And so we do retain all of our servicing, about 98%. And we've got an amazing new system that's being built called More, and it's a Salesforce-based platform that creates all the predictive analytics to tie the servicing portfolio to the loan officers. So we dish up these leads every day to our loan officers saying, these 4 clients have had their credit pulled. These 4 clients could have their MI fall off. These could be rate and term refinances, cash out refinances, and serving those up with scripting, analytics, and really trying to make it as easy as possible for the loan officers to stay connected to their borrowers. Fourth pillar is around impact lending. Impact lending is something that's really unique to us. We basically are one of the pioneers, I would say, in this, and it's something that really drew me to movement, where we do give back about 50% of our income every year to build charter schools and different charities. And I think, having an impact and doing more than just mortgages is something that's been really important to me. So you'll see a lot of us talking about, going out and asking realtors, do you have an impact lender? What does that mean? And we have the ability to show a realtor, by doing these 8 loans with us, you've impacted these, 10 kids at this school. We can actually show examples of what their deals translate into these charter schools. So really, I think an amazing initiative, and I think it's going to catch wind with other companies. We already have, I think, 6 other companies that are kind of jumping on. We want everybody to be doing this, just to be really helping, create a better path for our kids these days in the education system. So the 5th and final is VA. And, it's funny is we've been just recently really restructured it, and Sarah Middleton's doing a good job of actually taking over. And so this is going to be much more of an educational, and it's the later out of the 5 pillars that we're working on. This is the kind of the most recent, or the last pillar, I would say, that we've started to work through. And it's about being really an educator and getting out into the communities with the spouses. It's great to be on the base, but I can tell you my experience in the past. I had a really good friend of mine who is Brian Bergjams. He's an amazing guy. He was like everything VA for us at my last lender. And I just learned so much from him. And it's really about, getting with the spouses and providing value and educating them and helping them with the decision of, the home that they're going to purchase or refinance, and how to navigate those challenges that they face when their significant others are actually overseas. So VA is our 5th and final. I appreciate you giving me the little reminder there. And so those are our 5 pillars that we're working on, Lois.
Everyone's really excited about the MORE program that's going to be helping us to be better. But along with that, you had some great suggestions for loan officers, like what's best practices for them to continue to build their business and keep that business that we have in servicing, and keeping in touch with their clients, their database.
Yeah, absolutely. As originator myself, I always said I wouldn't be that person that talked about originating 10 years ago. I'm not quite 10 years, but I'm getting close. I'm probably around 7 or 8 years. So, but when I did originate, 50% of my business came from past clients, always, like clockwork, every year. And I think during COVID, we got, not to say we got lazy, but it was a lot easier to, originate loans. And so, going back to some of the basics, and especially if your company does retain servicing like we do here at Movement, the ability to just do 3 simple calls. And I guarantee if you do these 3 simple calls, if you're not doing them now, it'll increase your business by 30%. If you are, doing them, it'll continue to be, hopefully about 50% of your business will come from these 3 calls that you do. And that's a post-closing 30-day call to make sure they got their thank you gift and they've got all the information they need to set up their online payments. The 6-month call check-in, which is, I hope you're loving the house. Did Susie go to college? Did you build the deck? You're obviously taking all these notes down, making sure that you're listening to their needs. And then the 1-year annual mortgage review, where you're calling to let them know, I'm your lender for life. I'm watching your rate. You can throw away the mailers you're getting. Don't take the solicitor calls. And I promise I'm watching. I will call you when it's time to refinance. If there's anything in the interim, like a second home or a cash out, those are opportunities that come from those calls. And I tell you, all the loan officers I know in the industry, I bet you 20% of them do those calls. It's kind of crazy. They're the easiest call to make. And so I always tell people, if there's one thing you take from a call with me or a meeting with me, it's just do those 3 calls. It's so simple. You can leverage up different CRMs to help you with those. Like, we're building them all out as milestones in MORE, our system. And you'll trigger the loan officer to be set up for their 30-day call. Again, we'll have scripting right there. Same thing with the 6-month and the 1 year. So we're really going to make it easy for our loan officers to stay in touch with their borrowers.
Awesome. I know you said some few things, but what was the final reason for you joining
Oh,
movement? And
yes.
what were some of the what was some of the apprehension?
Uh, apprehensions too. Put it all out there. I love it. So yes, during that year when I was, kind of doing my search, um, the three things that kept bringing me back to movement were the initial was Casey, our owner, Casey Crawford, being a single owner and not being backed by PE. That was really important to me, just from a standpoint of my last home. We were backed by a fund, and it is different. The gentlemen on Wall Street and it's brokers and different PE firms and REITs, very smart people, but retail, especially retail mortgage, is very different. It's a different type of culture, and it's a different type of leadership and management required. And I think it took time to really understand that and learn that. For me, I wanted the security of knowing that I'm not going to wake up and have a phone call or a Zoom call that the company is being sold, or that there's decisions being made by numbers, not by people. And I think that's something that was important to me with Casey. And, I asked him, where does the buck stop? It stops with him. There's not a board that's making decisions. And I think he's 47 years old. He originated himself. He understands that and has empathy for the originator. And so that was the first reason. The second reason was servicing, and just the fact that we retain all of our servicing. Again, I can't emphasize how important it's going to be over the next few years to have your servicing retained, and just, the race to the bottom when the rates do come, and the call centers that are going to be paying people, consumer direct teams, 30 basis points. It's going to be a challenge, for the normal IMBs and the higher comp range to be competing at that level. So having that servicing and being able to keep that connectivity and that relationship, so that you can win those deals and keep those borrowers with you, and those agents, that we worked so hard for 10 years, 15 years to build those books,
Right.
and then to let them just be sold off to different aggregators would just be that would be a tough way to do business today. And then the third and final was the culture. We have a unique executive team, one, like I would say, unlike any other in the business. You've got Sarah Middleton, who was the president of Fairway for 10 years, who's our chief growth officer. Mike Brennan, who was a regional, moved up to the president role. So he thinks and acts like a loan officer. You've got Lyra Wagner, our CIO, who's hands down the best CIO in the industry, and she's building out a platform that's going to separate us from all the others and from on the technology stack. You've got Jason Stanger, who runs all of ops, who's an amazing leader who understands, the customer is the loan officer as well as the borrower, and that at the end of the day, we have to get loans closed on time at a high level of service, no matter what. Right? He understands the importance of that, which is huge, to have your ops partners truly be partners. Then you look at Jake Failing, who does all of our marketing. I would say that Movement has the best marketing out there. The
Yeah.
video content we put out, I get calls from people all the time about our marketing and just what we're putting out there. I would say we're definitely ahead of the times with it and do a great job of it. And so, Montel with our diversity lending, Casey, ex-NFL, amazing leader. I still keep trying to find something wrong with the guy, but I can't. So it was this team, right? This amazing team and this culture that I was just super excited to be part of, right? Usually as the national, you're the one sales guy in the room. Here, it's a room full of salespeople driving to make this company better every day for the loan officers, and to create a platform that, helps our loan officers win every day.
Awesome. Well, I know you had said before that the tech was one of your
Yeah.
drawbacks. And so maybe you could talk a little bit more about what that
Yeah.
is all about, and how it's going to actually help people to build better business.
Yeah, I'd love to. I came from a company with great tech. And what I've found over the years is in this chapter of my career also is I want to work with people that I enjoy, and I want to be a part of a culture that is that I can be proud of, right? Culture, it takes 10 years to make a culture, and it's either good or bad at the end of those 10 years. There's an amazing culture here. The one piece, had servicing, we had the single owner. The one piece was the tech. And I know movement. It almost rolled out a new LOS system and then didn't. And so there were a few things that I was concerned about, but Lyra Wagner, who I said I've been with it, 3 different companies now. I watched her roll out 2 different operating systems. I knew she was the right person for the role and would be able to not only, get our tech stack where it needs to be, but to be ahead of it. Not just roll Encompass out like every other lender just because it's what's easy. She's building out a platform now within Salesforce that's going to create a journey for our borrowers and for our loan officers here, attaching them to their servicing ports and really creating a platform that leverages AI. Not that it replaces, but just leverages it, allowing us to do more with less and to create a higher level of service with less. So I think, more is what we call it because that's what it does. It provides more in all different areas. And we're just scratching the surface. The fact that she got it rolled out and got all of us onto it within, a year is pretty amazing. I know that within the next year, we'll see all of these other pieces and aspects of our business tied into it with, we've got the CRM for recruiting in there. We've got the servicing in there. We've got the pricing engine in there. We've got the last piece is kind of there. Our LOS is in there today, but we're doing a ton of upgrades there. And so I think over the next year, you're going to see a system that seems very fluid from one stop, from an online application that's mobile all the way through the process into our servicing aspect where you can call and check your borrower's escrow, right? The fact that you could have that kind of one-stop shop within a tech platform at a company is huge, right? You don't have to go from system to system, different passwords or logins. It's going to be, I think, a real advantage for us. And, I'm super excited to see what she continues to build and roll out every month.
Me too. I love all the changes. Well, the industry always is changing, and the good thing about movement is as things change,
That's the only thing that's consistent is change.
Changing for the better, right? Exactly. That's what I always say. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for talking to me today, and
Of course.
appreciate it.
Likewise. Great seeing you. Thanks for everything.